Could you talk about Watson's performance and also specifically in the second quarter on those back-to-back touchdowns, how much him scrambling for yards helped the offense?
Well, I don't know the exact numbers, John, but just standing there on the sideline and watching him perform, he did a tremendous job. He was able to find receivers, put the ball right on them. And then when he had to run, get out of trouble, he was able to get out of trouble and still make plays. And so those two scores, like you say, in that second quarter, that kind of gave the whole team momentum and put us ahead. And, there have been times that we haven't been ahead. And so being ahead was a good feeling. And I think the guys rallied around that and continued to fight for the whole game.
Christy Rican.
Romeo, what was it like to see JJ have kind of a vintage game, swatting down passes and doing some of the things he did today?
Well, that was really good. I enjoy seeing that from JJ. And the thing that probably the most impact was to the opposing quarterback, because when JJ's on, they know he's coming, and he gets the quarterback off the spot and makes it tough for the quarterback to get his feet set and throw the ball down the field. And so some of that occurred today, and JJ's knocking balls down. I'm sure that there's one that he thought he was going to intercept that Cam knocked out of the way, and he was holding his head after the play. But that's the competitor that he is, and it was good to have him out there.
Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Romeo, your thoughts on Justin Reed? Justin's been tough on himself this year, and for him to have this kind of game, your thoughts on the way he played?
Well, sometimes the games kind of go up and down a little bit. Sometimes the ball comes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And Justin, being the competitor he is, he wants to make plays all the time. And I tell him, just make the plays you're supposed to make. And he was making plays today. He was down around the line of scrimmage and in the intermediate throwing areas. He was there tackling. And so he made a good contribution to the victory.
Romeo, do you have an update on Randall Cobb, Kenny Stills? And I wanted to see what you thought about Kiki Kuti, who hadn't been involved since the Baltimore game when he fumbled, for him to get into the end zone today.
All right. Well, Cobb has a foot injury. They'll be looking at it, and they'll let us know something tomorrow on that. Kenny has a leg injury, and they'll look at that as well, and they'll let us know something. Kuti, I tell you what, you got to take your hat off to the guy, because he hasn't played since Baltimore, but he comes to practice every day. He works really hard, and then when he gets the opportunity to go in and play, he shows what his ability is and what he can bring to the team. And that's what I tell all of them, that when you're not in the game, and if you are not there, you need to study, you need to know the game plan, because we just don't know when we're going to call you up, when we're going to put you in the game. And when you go in the game, you have to perform. And he performed very well.
Aaron Reese.
Hey, Romeo, what does it say about Deshaun that he was able to play as well as he did today, despite you guys having such little success on the ground?
Well, it says that he's a really good player. I mean, he's a really good player, and he helps make our offense go, and so if sometimes when you got a guy like that who can make the plays that he can make, sometimes you don't have to have a ground game. And we're struggling a little bit with the running games, in this game. And so we kind of relied on Deshaun in the passing game.
Brandon Scott.
Hey, Romeo, what was different about you guys against the run today?
Well, I tell you guys all the time, the consistency of technique and guys doing their job first and then trying to help out. And a lot of times it comes to toughness and leverage, playing against double teams and not guessing. And so we did that today against a good running team, a team, who's top of the league as far as the run goes. And then we were able to slow that down. Then they started to throw the ball, and, they hadn't been throwing as well overall because they've been running the ball. And so now you kind of put them out of their element a little bit, particularly when you got JJ coming off the edge and being disruptive the way he was, getting the quarterback off the spot. And so that helped us a lot today.
And then, Romeo, I also wanted to ask you about y'all's pass rush. Y'all had a couple of defensive back safety blitzes, and Jonathan Grenard got his first sack of the year. What did you think about the pressure y'all were able to put on?
Well, you know what? When you bring pressure, you're hoping that it works, or planning that it works, and so it was working today. And so we kept calling it a little bit, and because it was effective. Sometimes that double-edged pressure, you bring it and the quarterback has nowhere to go. And so now he gets a little antsy and doesn't know exactly where he wants to throw the ball, particularly if he had a deep route call. So now he's got to look for the short outlet guy. And then when you're able to get him to throw it to the short outlet guy, if you don't get him on the ground, then you rally up and make the tackle on those guys. And so we were doing some of that today.
Mark Berman.
Romeo, I have a couple of questions. Number one, did you dance in the locker room?
A slow two-step.
Can you give us an example?
Oh, not right now. I used it all up in the locker room.
Is it making it any more special that this win is over Bill Belichick and the Patriots?
Well, like you say, anytime you go against the guy that you've worked with and that you've coached against before, a win is a good feeling, and so feel good about that. But I really feel good about the fact that we were able to win a home game. And so we hadn't done that. So winning a home game was a big plus. And so I know all those guys in the locker room, they feel good about the win and the way that they fought for the whole game. And I think that will help us going forward into this short week that we got coming.
What was your message to the team after the game?
Hey, well, one, give a shout out to John Weeks because of what he accomplished by playing in the game today. Gave a shout out to him. And then I told him that we got a short week and we better get into cold tub so that you can regenerate and then get ready to work a couple of days and then go travel and play on Thursday. And we need a win on Thursday.
Two more. John McClain.
Romeo, with Tunsil being out and the injury issues in the offensive line, how do you think the line played, specifically Roderick Johnson?
Well, I think Roderick did a good job. He was able to hold his man out on pass protection. And then he had a couple of hustle plays on one screen over on toward their sideline. He was running for a big man. He was really moving and able to cut the defender to get our screen guys started. And we were able to gain yards on that play. And when you see that from a big man, you appreciate the effort, And so I thought he stepped in and did a really good job. I'm proud of him for the way he played.
Last question for Aaron Wilson.
Romeo, do you expect Laramie to be able to play on Thursday? Do you feel like he's improving to a point where he could make it back out there in 4 days?
Well, I think we'll talk to the doctors and they'll let us know something tomorrow and see whether he can or not. And at this point, I'm not sure.
Great. Thanks so much, Coach.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, please. Was the plan going in to throw to you guys, the tight ends, as much, 9 catches, 134 yards, or did some of that have to do with the injuries to Cobb and Stickles?
There's just Deshaun standing in the pocket and making great throws, trusting the O-line and everyone winning the route. It's a man-to-man game, so we won our matchups.
Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Jordan. Was this the best you felt personally since you had the two injuries, the high ankle and the concussion? Are you starting to feel like yourself again?
Definitely. I feel, last week I